I have recently finished the Bout of Books readathon and I really enjoyed it. I wanted to tell you about what I felt and what I did during this readathon. And if you want to know more and get some more details about it, please click down below to my Twitter account or my Goodreads account where you can follow me and find out what I'm reading all the time. Ooh. So I read 3 books during this time, and I also started 3 books. So I finished the book that I was reading before the readathon began, and I also started a new book before the readathon ended that I didn't finish. So the first book that I finished during the readathon was A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing by this lovely person, and this was a really fantastic book, and I aimed to finish it way before the readathon started, but I ended up getting caught up in it because it's a very hard book to read. It reminded me a lot of Clockwork Orange in its language use, and also some very biblical things that I had to look up, and it ended up being quite a heavy book in spite of the fact that it's very short. So I read this book and I finished it on the Tuesday. And when I finished this book, I immediately picked up this book by John Williams. It is Stoner, a new vintage classic, and I think it's really wonderful, and it's definitely a novel to read. It was really simple, but at the same time very poignant, and it was just a book about a man's life. It's set during World War I, I think, and around that time. Obviously it spans an entire lifetime, so it's a lot more than that. But it was really fantastic, and it was a really nice book to read, even though it wasn't too hard. I'm sure there are some deeper meanings to it, but maybe I'll have to really think about it to find those. Once I finished Stoner, I immediately picked up the next book, which someone had been bugging me to read for a very long time, and in spite of the fact that it's quite a bit chunkier than the books I normally read, I picked it up anyway. It's The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman, and I thought it was fantastic. I read it very quickly, even though it was over a few days. Whenever I did read it, I read a lot of pages at a time, and this is 400 pages worth, so it's basically what I would normally read in a week, but I read it in 4 days, which I'm quite proud about. I thought it was brilliant. I'm really looking forward to seeing the film as well now that I've read the book. I don't normally watch the films of books, but I thought, why not? It can go on the list. So I'm very excited about it, and it was a very good book. The only thing that really bothers me about it is the fact that it had a very obvious lead on to the next book, and I know it's part of a trilogy and that it was meant to be part of a trilogy, but you couldn't just read it as a standalone book, which I quite like when it's part of a trilogy, but you don't have to, but I don't know. So by this time it was Sunday, the last day of the readathon, and I just finished The Golden Compass, so I picked up the next book on my readathon list, even though I knew I wouldn't finish it, and it is but The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. And I really loved this book. I've only read 45 pages of it, but wow, it's so amazing. And I really love the way it's written, the way it's set. I definitely think that you should pick this up. Along with all of the other books that I read during this readathon, I definitely think you should read.
I bought your nail file. Oh, thank you. So ignore Ellie, read. These are the only books you need to read.
No, don't read them. Don't do it.
That's all you need to read.
I don't know.
I'm in the outtakes. Hello.
That's it.
My YouTube
Watch this video that I made last week, and also...
And read this.
That is the end.